Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dave. I'm going to do my weekly review, just the overall market analysis for the week. I already, over here on the left, I already have everything organized by what closed at its highs in the last 5 days. But first, I'm going to start with the SPY. We'll go RSP, the Qs, IWM, and then Dow per usual. Then we'll get into the other sectors. So firstly, here's a look at the weekly chart in the SPY. You can see that this is just continues to trend upwards. That is defined as higher highs and higher lows. And you can see that it continues to respect the 10 weekly MA. This is an EMA on that's a white line there. And then this blue line is the 20 EMA. And again, this is the weekly EMA. You see last week here, if we zoom in, we came back and we tagged, sorry, the zoom function is being a little spazzy here. We tagged that 20 EMA here. I drew this uptrend line just based off of this low here. It could have been a little acceleration of the trend, but I can take that away for now. So you can see we tagged the 20 EMA and we have a nice bottoming tail. Another thing to note, in my opinion, is that this bottoming tail, it did undercut this big red bar here that was on volume. And when I mean undercut, I mean that price went below this low. Last week I was saying if price were to break below this 580, it would technically create a new low. However, caveat to that is it would have to spend time underneath here. It would have to have follow through to say, hey, there are actually sellers down here. That didn't happen. What happened is it undercut. It said, nope, no sellers down there. Nice bottoming tail. And then on Friday, the follow through day, went up to the upside. And so there was a lack of sellers here. There's a lack of supply in this area. So this 580 area seems to be an important level to hold. And I would keep an eye on that for further, for future price advances or declines. I think that's an important level to monitor for now. A couple of notes, again, I did switch to the daily chart here. A couple of notes, 50 SMA here, the yellow line. We are under it. It is inclining. It is still sloping upwards. However, it's beginning to flatten. The 10 and 20 EMAs, they're starting to flatten too. This could potentially be a double bottom. It's not a double bottom until it breaks this kind of range of the high here, just at this level, at this 580 specifically level here. So this could potentially, hold. I am anticipating further follow through of the markets overall. So looking at the SPY, we're still under these moving averages. However, it's not going to take much of a price movement. 595 would put us over the 50, 10, and the 20 MAs. So I'd be mindful of that. I'm anticipating, especially with the failure follow through here, target is opposite end of range. So you could probably say at least 595, 596 it would hit potentially. That would be target here. Otherwise, if this isn't a look above and fail here, we could even target maybe 600. We shall see. Looking at RSP, I'll go back to the weekly here. This is the equally weighted market. You can see that the average, so sold off for 3 weeks, failed to sell off the prior week. And then last week, it did indeed undercut this big red bar here and failed to follow through. We still have the 50 weekly MA coming up here. Price is under the 20 and the 10. So this is for the average market. However, this did kind of pull back to an area to where it's really just kind of retesting this breakout-ish zone here. A lot of topping tails, a lot of sellers here. Maybe I can do that more so. So it's kind of retesting this area. We'll see if it continues to sell off or if it starts to chop around and follow on through. This is what the daily chart looks like. The shorter term EMAs are curling down. The 50 SMA is starting to curl down. So, and here's the 200 SMA as well. So maybe we get a little chop, little digestion over the next couple of weeks. I don't know, because there is some overhead supply. All of this could be potential sellers up here. So I would expect some fighting and some pullbacks, and it has to clear level by level. But this is that's a lot of selling. It's a lot of weeks. It was at least 3 weeks straight that I'm selling. Noted on the weekly chart here. 1, 2, 3. So I would expect some chop as it continues to kind of like fight off that selling. Looking at the Qs, look pretty solid. You can see it undercut the 10 EMA and then came back and closed over it. This is again on the weekly. Here were those prior highs. It kind of retested and held-ish this area, broke out, and now it's just coming back to retest it. It's respecting the 20 EMA. What I just see here is a nice pullback on the weekly. I don't see anything alarming bells, in my opinion. It did undercut the 50 SMA on the daily. And then the next day, we had a nice little bounce. Maybe, just maybe, we have to clear this downtrend line. So maybe on Monday we get a little push up. We hit that downtrend line, potentially get a little supply there, pull back to kind of retest this low. And then maybe it sets a higher high. So I don't know, maybe it just goes here, hits that, pulls back around this 512 area, random guess. And then that gives it enough juice to say, hey, there's buyers stepping up here. Then we can push higher on and maybe chop forward on that. That's just a potential scenario I would be looking out for on the Qs. Looking at IWM, there's a lot of talk on small caps right now. We can see we've got a nice little consolidation area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trading days here. 11 if you want to include the big bar. So basically two weeks of trading days in this zone, in this range of, I'd say balance is 224.50 to probably 219.50. So about a $5 range here. Doubling that would give it a $10 upside. So if it's 224.50, maybe 234.50 up here would be double target if it did indeed break that range. So maybe we can watch this level that I have marked here. We do have the 50 SMA above us. We are over the 10, but we still have a declining 20 EMA. So in my opinion, this is kind of guilty until proven innocent. We do have the 5 SMA. It's not on this chart, but it's probably starting to curl upwards here, as it was probably starting to flatten last week. And then if we get a lot of price push, it'll probably start curling up. So I follow a lot of Brian Shannon. So he says basically don't enter until the 5 SMA is at least flattening, ideally curling up. If it's going down, just the chances of the trade working out is just lower. So you don't want to be taking unnecessary risk. Next, Dow. Let's start with a weekly here. Pulling back to the 20 EMA here. This did indeed undercut that and failed to follow through, just like I was saying with the SPY. And so maybe we get a little bit more chop here for the next couple of weeks. I think there are a few sectors we need to look out for. But overall, market-wise, maybe we get a little chop. Not sure. Excuse me. Pardon me. All right. XLU, utilities. Nice little incline here. Failure to break these lows past 2 weeks. Got a nice little push. A little bit of increasing volume relative to the prior week. That shouldn't be a shock. XLE, nice little bounce here off of this 82.98 level. That's where it found support in the past, and it seems to be holding it-ish. Didn't mean to do that. Holding it-ish now. So I would be curious. And maybe this is just a weak bounce here. It's going to find some supply, I don't know, 50% range, maybe this $90 area, and then just fall through even lower. No idea. Maybe it just finds support here, and then target is opposite end range. Maybe we get all the way up to 93, pull back to the halfway of 90, and then it gears up and pushes higher. Not sure. I don't trade energy a lot. It's just a chop fest, in my opinion. It's how I see it. XLRE kind of retesting this breakout area, this neckline of it, kind of a reverse head and shoulder look. This neckline is around 40.50, and it's kind of holding it right now. So this could potentially be a decent buy area. with a nice tight stop loss below this 39 at like 39.80 maybe. I don't trade ETFs or these names. I can't think right now. I don't trade these. I trade the individual stocks within these. So maybe real estate names would be interesting in this area. One thing to note is underneath the 200 SMA, all these things are declining too. But either way, it seems like bids and buyers are stepping in at these levels. Here's XLV, still downtrending, still heading down overall. Maybe this could be the low here. It failed to break lower, and this is the first time it failed to break lower. See how these lower low here, sell, made a lower low, failed to break lower here, and it got a nice little jump, made a lower high, and then made it a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Now we made a higher low relative to this. So maybe we get some follow through, and this could be the chop and turn around for healthcare sector, potentially. There's gold for you. I don't trade it very much. RSP already went over it. Financials, we're getting some sideways chop, 10 days here, kind of finding balance and in a range. Looks like it might want to push on up higher. XLC Communications finding support at the 50 SMA. Maybe it has a little downtrend line to break here. If you trade XLC names, maybe it broke it. Maybe this holds. It only has a little bit of price movement to get above this 98.50 level, which is where the 20 and the 10 EMA is. You're good, buddy. Good boy. Sorry, there's my dog there. His name's Parker. He's a golden retriever. He's an absolute cutie pie. We're getting some more consolidation here in XLI. Undercut here. It's kind of closing back in a range. I'd say target's probably 134.50. If I'd say at least it's kind of finding in the range here. There's a lot of supply overhead here, so I would anticipate some chop. XLK, tech, good old tech. Doesn't have much to get back over the 10 and 20 EMAs. It's been chopping a lot, right? It's just kind of in a zone, in a range. I don't know what this is. I don't recall drawing that, but it's there. Yeah, it's pretty choppy overall, but tech is tech. I think that's probably going to be one of the leaders, as it per usually is. I think that's a pretty simple statement, honestly. I'm no genius here. There's a downtrend line here that might need to be broken, tested, maybe a little pullback to set a higher low versus at least that to retest it again in XLY. But looking healthy, finding support at the 50 SMA here. XLP, consumer staples, finding balance. There's a lot of bottoming tails at this 78 level. So there's bids here, there's support here, and it's obviously holding. We have some increasing volume, at least the past couple of days, especially on Thursday there, the second, whatever day that was, I guess. So I'd be interested in maybe XLP at this level, especially if you want to zoom out on the weekly here. It could be finding support near this level right there at like these highs where it was finding supply prior on the weekly. Let me mark that out for you so it's kind of easier to see what I'm seeing here. That right there. See all these topping tails here? So there's supply area. Finally broke it, came back. Now there's bottoming tails. So that's just kind of retesting that 78.30-ish area. UNG. Nice push, and it just sold off, huh? I mean, there's still a lot of supply here. Maybe it's this large volume. This maybe we get a higher low versus this $13 area, and this starts a reversal. I would anticipate a lot of chop as it continues to try to reverse. And there's materials that's just selling off. Sorry. I'm not interested in this at all. This is downtrending. You're trying to catch a falling knife, in my opinion, if you try and trade this. So good luck to you. I'm not doing it. All right, URA, we got a nice little push over the 10, over the 20. We have the 200 SMA and the 50 SMA overhead now. We also have these supply areas here. So I would say, so is that zone, price is coming up to that. So if sellers were going to, if these people, these longs that are quote unquote trapped, if they wanted to, if they felt pressure to sell and break even because they're underwater now since they bought up here in this area, this is going to give them an opportunity to sell for maybe a break even, maybe a lower loss than what this selling down here would have been. If that happens, this might be a decent area for it to happen to, and it continues on down. However, if it accepts back into this range and selling doesn't ensue, opposite end target is 33. So we might have a decent move in URA coming, potentially. I don't know. Just follow price. This is never financial advice, by the way. PBW, what is that? Clean Energy ETF. I don't look at this very often, but it's just closed at its 5 days highs, right? So looks like it's actually trying to turn around here. It's now over. This looks like a reversal play. It's over the 200. It's over the 50, over the 10 and the 20. Things are starting to flatten to curl out. I would expect a little bit more chop, and then maybe it starts to fully curl on upwards. That's interesting. Maybe tan. That looks like it set a higher. It did set a higher low here versus 32. So maybe looking at tan names, solar names would be potentially interesting spots to look into. Maybe something like that. It does have the declining 50. So you'd have to look at the stronger, in my opinion, what I would do is I would look at the stronger names, make sure they're at least over the 50 SMA, and it's certainly over the 200. And then maybe the 10 and the 20s are starting to flatten out, if not curl upwards, and then the 5 SMA is flat or curling upwards. Maybe I'll go over some names later with those. So tan I'll have to look at. XOP looking interesting. Nice strong push off of that bottom area. So gas, oil, and exploration, that prior support level here at that 124-ish. OIH, sorry, oil services, other oils. Nice strong push off of there. SMH, this is darling, right? If it breaks out of the consolidation that it's been in for quite some time, I would say, if it breaks out of this level right here, that 260, if it breaks out of this 254, let's call it, I'd say 260 is a 262-ish area. 260, 262 would be a decent level to target. It did set a higher low here versus this, and it had a nice push on Friday. So SMH is looking pretty solid. I do think semis are going to continue to lead the markets. They have been. I've been focusing on staying in themes and like stronger names. Last year I kind of was just focused on taking a lot of shots at a lot of names that had my setups, and it didn't really work out for me. And I wasn't really trading the stronger names. I already went over IWM. And so I'm trying to stick with the stronger names, focus on that, and waiting my setups within those stronger names. Makes sense, right? I think it does. Stocks just continue to chop, but I mean, either way, semiconductors. I forget what the difference between stocks and SMH. There was just a stronger weight of some names in one versus the other. I don't remember. IAT, we got a nice little support is being found certainly at this 50-ish dollar level. What is that? Regional banks looks kind of interesting. Where is Jets at? Oh, XME, I think looked interesting. So it's kind of consolidating down here. Everything is declining, but it's pretty oversold. I don't know what the RSI is on this. Maybe I can put it on real quick. You can see what that says. RSI is that? Oh no, I hit average volume. Sorry, hang on. RSI. There we go. 30. RSI is 30. It was lower than that, right down here, but it's balancing out now. Either way, it's technically oversold. RSP, KRE. Let's go KRE. Look at that, regional banking. Nice little consolidation here. If it breaks out of that 62 level, you got to be mindful of these declining EMAs. But I could see that turning around. Overall, looking at all these charts, what do you see? You see a lot of consolidation areas after this large selling. Maybe selling has slowed for good, and maybe this just is setting the next consolidation zones for like double bottoms, right? I'm not going to call them double bottoms because they haven't broken their ranges yet, but following prior support levels. So if this could be serving as nice consolidations for the next leg up, maybe, or you find enough overhead supply at the next levels. China, I don't trade China, but it's going sideways. So maybe it's just finding a nice base here, and then it starts curling up. It's just look how gappy it is. I don't trade a lot of gappy things. Lithium, nice little push here. Decent volume on Thursday with not a lot of selling. So this could be starting of accumulation at this level. So maybe LIT is a pretty interesting area to look at. Interesting names to look at there. I really like that high volume and lack of follow through. Typically signs of maybe a start of a reversal. So I'd be interested in LIT as well. There's Jets. Jets looks gorgeous. Tag the 50 SMA. Nice consolidation area. The weekly looked really good too. It just nice bottoming tail down to the 10 EMA. Where also had a bottoming tail 3 weeks ago in this area and just got bought up. So I would look at airlines if I were you guys, and TLT and then KWeb. So what I say, Jets looks interesting. LIT looked interesting. There's on the weekly. Maybe this is the higher low there. What else did I say looked interesting? XME I think looked interesting. Certainly SMH. I know some people. Oh, and TAN. I did like TAN and URA. So I maybe take a look at some names in those. Do your own homework. Hopefully, this review, it helps me get ready for the week. Hopefully you guys are learning something from it. If you are, like, share, give me feedback too. I like feedback. I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. And besides, it helps me too. All right, trade safe.